Hey guys, my name is Liam and this is Jeep TV Reviews Stuff. What I've got for you today is a sunshade that is for the new JL Wrangler. This is a pretty exciting sunshade. It's produced by QMP Arts. They're a company you can find their products on Amazon. What I like about this sunshade is it's got dual features going on here. And you'll see this in just a moment, but it's a sunshade where you can block out the sun if you want to, or you can expose it through the mesh like you're used to on most other sunshades. This one is for the 4-door Wrangler, and so it's going to have a front and a rear component, and we will be attaching it with these little bungees. Let's jump in. First thing you're going to see is the instructions are incredibly easy, but they're also nice and clear, which is a big bonus for just about anything you install on your Jeep. The first two steps here are to read the instructions and to complete the instructions, so we're going to just ignore those completely. The thing you need to be paying attention to is this graphic right here. Each of the different bungees, some are different lengths, and they're going to be labeled accordingly. You have letters on the bungees, and then you have that called out here in the picture. If I pull out one of these bungees here, I'll show you where those letters are. It's fairly self-explanatory, but it's put on with tape. The only concern I would have about this is once you've put this on one time, the tape's gone, and it's kind of up to you to figure out where they go. So you might want to come up with a labeling system of your own, or just hold on to this and memorize the different lengths. Obviously, in this case, E is the longest, and you can kind of work your way from there. The installation process is a little bit of gymnastics, but it's really not a big deal at all. First thing you're going to want to note is on the front piece, which is the more rectangular of the two, it's got these little chamfered corners here, and those go towards the front. You can see here that the front is a pretty tight fit, and the back is quite large. So we're going to start with B, which is a little bit more of your standard roll cage. So take the tape off of here, and you got 4 of these. Again, the chamfered edges are going towards the front. And you got these 2 holes here. These are going to be the holes for B. And then you can go around the roll cage. See the ball here? You're going to want to push this up. You don't want this scratching any of the plastic or any of the paint. You want that facing inward so it keeps everything nice and safe. Okay, we'll start off by showing you on this side. You can just massage the bungees out to where they need to go. And this location is going to change slightly as you install the sunshade and kind of wiggle it into position. Let's do the other side. The next step is going to be the front, and it doesn't necessarily matter which order you do this in, but I would recommend doing the front when you don't have a lot of tension on it, and you'll see why in just a second here. The only tool you're going to need for this install is this piece of paper itself. On the back, there's some fold lines, and that's exactly what you're going to need to do, is fold the paper along those lines, because it's going to be the tool for threading this bungee through this tight space up here on the windshield. This way, you don't have to drop the windshield to install this, which is good in my opinion, but dropping the windshield might make this easier, not gonna lie. I'm just going to fold this guy up, a little bit of origami. I bet you didn't know you're doing origami today. Now you are. Origami and Jeep stuff are one and the same. And then once you fold it all up, you got to open it back up to figure out how you're going to use it. Okay. So this is, like I said, going to be a little bit more tricky. I'm going to open this up. You got a flat end down here. Thread it through. So now you're pulling on both at the same time. And then your paper is going to go through here. See that? Now you have your paper as a tool, and you can snake it through, and it should, in theory, come out the other side. You see here? Just barely came through, just enough. So you're going to kind of pull that. Okay.
Take 2.
Take 2. So this is also important. When you snake this through, if you get just one end of it, it's not going to work so well. You want both sides to come out, or it's not going to pull through. So now you're going to yank on this. Watch out for your visors. We're going to use our brains. Moving the visor, okay? Don't rip your paper. You're going to need that again. And from a seated position in the driver's seat, you should, in theory, be able to reach this. There you go. And it's as easy as that. Woo! Now your visor goes back. You can put that back up and everything works just like it should. The next step is G. G is really long. G goes in the corners. You can take your sticker off of here. They gave you an extra sticker, which is pretty cool. You can take that off too, so you're not looking at it. Also, again, because your labels are going to fall off eventually, G is thin profile. So you got this thin profile all along the top, or the front, I should say, and the long ones are going to be G. Those are going to go in the corners. So just like before, you're going to push it through, the piece on the bottom, and these are just going to go around the corner. Nothing fancy here, just around the corner, and then loop back on themselves underneath. And then you're going to want to push this all the way up towards the front, as far as it'll go. And that's about it. Nothing too crazy with G. We're going to do something interesting here. We're actually going to take this sunshade and we're going to put it below the fasteners for the hardtop. Because the fun part about a sunshade is you can actually run a sunshade with a hardtop installed. So we're going to run everything below the hardtop hardware so that we can install the hardtop if needed. The next one you're going to do is C. C is the back corner. So for this one, the instructions appear that you're going to want to go this way into the door jamb. Obviously, you don't want to do that if you ever want to close your doors. So what they have done is they've made C long enough so you can go across into the rear door area and then back down and around. So you're going to push it through, get the ball in there, and you're going to loop your thumb in and go down, around, and then you'll come back up to that ball. Probably. Just like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. The next one we're going to do is E. E is by far the longest of the straps, and that's because it's got to go across this giant bar here, this nice speaker bar that you have on the JL. So just like all of the others, you're going to put it through, grab it, and wrap it around. You might be able to do it standing up, or you might have to go into the cab. Yep, it's going to be a lot easier if you sit in the rear seat, stretch it around, just like that. Give it a good tug, and it should all seat nicely. Now, because you're in the rear seat, you can grab the other one and do the exact same thing, and that's not bad at all. The next part is the rear sunshade. As this is a 4-door, you get to have a front and a rear. Now, something I'm going to have to specify is that the rear is symmetrical front to back, side to side. However, this zip off part of the sunshade is only going one way. So you can put this however you want, I assume, but we're going to choose that the zipper side is going to be on the driver's side because it seems about right. With that being said, that will make this the front, but we're going to start with the sides. B, right here, is the sides. So what we'll do is take off your stickers again. And by this point, you can probably assume what is going to happen. We're going to put the bungee through the hole, and then we're going to go around the roll cage just like that. Now, while we're on the same side, so I don't have to walk around the vehicle, I can show you C. This and that. C, there should be 4 of these for the rear. It's just slightly longer in case you misplace the instructions or the lovely sticker. And C is going to do the exact same thing as B did. C is just slightly longer because it will end up at an angle when you're all said and done. You'll have another one labeled C, and that's going to go on the front here. So just like on the front, E is the very long one, which is going to go over your sound bar. Got these already set up. This is another one where it's going to be a lot easier to do from the interior of the car, or the Jeep, I should say. And you got these guys here. These are part of your hardtop. I would recommend you avoid them. So we're going to go to the side of them, and hopefully that's not a bad idea. Gotta really pull on it, but then looping it around isn't too bad. And there you go. One thing I like about this is it is very tight fitting. So it's gonna be nice and tight and it's not gonna flap around a lot. You are still gonna get that sound, but that's part of having a soft top. That's part of having a sunshade. If this bothers you, you should probably put your hard top back on. There's 4 of these, all labeled D, and these are also obnoxiously long. I didn't measure them next to E, so I'm not entirely sure which one is longer. But these are going to go across the rear bar of the roll cage, and it's going to be easiest to do these from the inside. Reach around, through. I would say these are probably the easiest of all of them to do. So you save them for last when you're getting all tired and fed up with the top. Gives you a little bit of satisfaction to push through to the end. And then of course, going on a drive will solidify that you've made the right purchase. All right, come on in here and we're gonna take a look at some of the features of this top. Because this is what really sets this top apart. I don't know if you can see this here, but if you look right up in here, there's some Velcro and there's some zippers. So you just take these zippers, just pull them all the way back. And you get this Velcro and you got a tent. Just kidding. So what you can do here is you can actually roll this guy up, and it takes just a moment to get it all rolled up. And they have provided you with these little guys here. This is probably what you heard earlier when I was pushing on it. These little guys here, they kind of rattle around on the top. They have these little snaps here. That's what's rattling, is these little snaps. Come up, you can just clip them in. And now, this is nice and out of the way. And so you're sitting in the rear seat, you can get the sunlight, but you're not getting terribly sunburned. And some of us, who look like me, can get very terribly sunburned. So this is quite nice. It's also gonna help a little bit with the wind. You can still feel the air coming through it, but when you're going down the highway, it's going to help push the wind back towards the rear of the vehicle, which is, or can be, a very good thing. Now the front, and if you wanna come around over here, I'll show you the front. I can do this from the rear seat, you can do this from the front as well, but it's the same story. You've got these zippers, and then you just roll it up. Now the front, what's neat about it is it's designed a little bit differently than the rear, and that it's split into 2 halves. So it doesn't do the whole piece all at once. So the passenger and the driver can actually have different preferences. You put this up here, get a little bit of best of both worlds, where the passenger is going to get the sunlight, maybe the driver's getting some glare because it's the afternoon or it's noon or wherever the sun is, and they want to have this up. So you can have one side up, one side down, and again, the driver's side, it comes apart the exact same way as the passenger side did. Now, when this is all installed, like I said, it's really nice and tight, and that helps a lot with this zipper. I was a little worried about the zipper being hard to fumble with and annoying, but because they made it so nice and tight, this is very easy to use, and it feels, I don't know, it feels like a quality construction. So that's pretty exciting. When it's all said and done, it should accommodate the hard top. Haven't tested it yet, but most sunshades will allow you to put the hard top back on, so you can actually leave this here for as long as you want. And I've actually used some of the sunshades as storage. You can kind of pull it down, shove a coat up there, or just something that's in your way. In these larger vehicles, it's not so bad, but in my 2-door Wrangler, that extra storage is definitely a lifesaver. The best part is when you take it out for a drive. Sitting in your driveway, a Jeep doesn't do you any good. You want to get behind the wheel and drive it around. So I'm in the passenger seat here, and we're gonna look up, look at that beautiful blue sky with the clouds. You can see right through the sunshade. You get that open air feel, but like I said, it nullifies the wind a little bit, and it's definitely gonna reduce the amount of sun. It is incredibly comfortable in here. Sunlight-wise, heat-wise, it's keeping us nice and cool. We can feel all the wind through the windows, but the actual sunlight is being nullified by the sunshade. And again, if it becomes too much, say you're out somewhere where the sun is just insane and it's quite hot, you've got these guys, you can roll them out and you're good to go. So guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like this sunshade. There will of course be a link in the bio to where you can buy something like this. And of course, this is not going to be the last time I do a product review, so you should subscribe to the channel if you like content like this. Also, if you just like content involving Jeeps in general, you should be subscribed to this channel as well as to Gone Jeepin', where we are all Jeep all the time, and we've got all sorts of great stuff in store for you. I'll see you in the next video.